any trade war, Trump will win. And then if he's doing this sort of for the long game of bringing companies back home, if he gets his way on taxes and red tape, that is going to work as well. That would create a new dawn in America.
I saw an interesting argument I'd like to have you comment on. It was by a free market economist who made the point that, look, from a free market point of view, a complete free market, no tariffs, just free trade is the ideal solution. However, he says, it is a great illusion to believe that we live in such a world. That in fact, other countries, many other countries have tariffs that dwarf our tariffs. In fact, they have extensive tariffs and extremely high tariffs, and they have a lot of them. So in other words, when you're looking at the market, the international market, you're not seeing prices that have been set by free trade. You're seeing prices that have been set by a regime of existing mercantilism and tariffs. And so the Economist was arguing that tariffs of the kind that Trump is imposing might be a kind of second best solution, second best to a pure free market, but also seen as a kind of tool to try to bring us closer to that free market by using tariffs as a weapon to dismantle other people's tariffs. Do you think that this kind of line of reasoning holds water?
I think that's absolutely correct. You know, Trump is talking, I've been calling them the nuclear tariffs because they're going to hit almost every country. On April 2nd, Trump wants to do reciprocal tariffs on all of our trade partners. And that's exactly what he's doing. So he's quantifying their tariffs on us. And he's saying, look, we're just going to match you guys. And when you go through the numbers, it's astounding. So straight tariffs, where you just put like a 3% tariff on something, in most of our trading partners, those are typically about 2 to 3 times higher than what we do to them. But there's also this other category of what's called non-tariff barriers. And those can be enormous. So to give an example, the U.S. medical equipment industry is the leader in the world. If you are a top hospital in China, you are buying Medtronics. You are not buying the local stuff. Yet, you can't export this stuff to Europe because they have their own FDA who goes through it and says, no, this stuff isn't up to snuff. So they play games with regulatory approvals. They do that on agricultural products. They do it on electronics. They do it on cars. They have VATs, so these sales taxes in Europe that can be quite high, 20% or more. They exempt their own products for export. They don't exempt us. When you put those together, Europe taxes us or tariffs us 18% more than we tariff them. So the irony here is that the entire left-wing global media is painting Trump as some anti-trade guy. He's the one who's trying to straighten this out. The Europeans are absolute gangsters on trade. They literally charge Norway and Switzerland like money. Like they have to pay billions of dollars to access the European market because otherwise they can't trade with Europe. And this is just pure gangster. If we did that to Europe, we'd be charging them, what, $30-50 billion a year. So Europe is one of the worst offenders. China, of course, India. Almost every partner that we trade with tariffs us at a far higher rate than we tariff them.